What's up, Blockheads? We are rolling up to MMI. Got Pedro, Captain Anna, and Wes riding the Season 5 giveaway bikes. Hey, we should probably pull them around to the right here, right?
Yeah, it's that bay door with all these little bikes.
Yep. So yeah, like I was saying, we're here at MMI to get the Season 5 giveaway bikes dynoed to get some base horsepower numbers and all that.
Where's the key on this one?
Up your butt.
Here. Found it.
Gross, bro. You might want to wash your hands.
Might want to wash your key.
Alright guys, we're up here at MMI.
Hello.
Check it out. Holly.
Hi.
They got us pizza, guys. Y'all always taking care of us. We appreciate it, but I'm trying to eat good. Alright guys, so we are here with Holly at MMI. She's pretty much like the person that we go through whenever we're working together at Florida Moto Meet. They were the title sponsor at FLMM for 2019. We were shaping up probably title sponsor for 2020, but we all know how that went. And you guys were one of the sponsors as well for 2018, right? Yes, so we've had a pretty long relationship with MMI. Awesome to work with you guys. If you want to tell our viewers a little about, like, what is MMI?
So MMI is a location here in Orlando, Florida and Phoenix, Arizona. We teach you how to work on motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, and personal watercraft. We work with some of the biggest manufacturers out there: Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, Kawasaki, BMW, and Harley-Davidson.
Awesome. And then you guys have, like, how many students at this location?
Oh, right now, great question. With COVID-19, we're kind of up in the air with our numbers. I'm thinking we're hitting about 600, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a pretty big facility.
It is a pretty big facility.
Yeah.
I forget the exact square footage, but it is on our website. So uti.edu, you will find all the information you need about the program here at MMI.
Awesome, yeah. I'll be sure to drop all the information down in the description below, as well as on the screen right here. But I mean, just this room alone, I feel like I'm in a candy store right now. Like, we really appreciate you guys letting us do this. Like,
hey, it's my pleasure, guys.
Thank you
We're
so
happy
much.
to have you here.
I know you gotta say anytime you do that, that ain't going nowhere.
That's that ratchet strap in the back of the truck.
Yeah, that's right. Man,
she ain't going nowhere.
You're in there. Ooh, the decibels.
Hey guys, my name's Jimmy McMillan. I'm an instructor here for Harley-Davidson at Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. I also work for Harley-Davidson University up in Milwaukee for about 6 months out of the year when they're doing their training season. Primary class is dyno and performance, and that's where we are in the heart of Harley down here in Orlando. Today we are grabbing Blockhead's 883 that he just picked up, and I heard he's going to do some really cool stuff with it. We are going to get a baseline on this motorcycle. We're going to test this equipment out, right? We've got a high flow over here, looks like it's a Roland Sand Steel, and then a Bassani exhaust. We're just going to get a baseline on there, FP3 on it, just kind of as is where it is. I'm not too worried about air-fuel ratio today because this is going to get some different parts coming up in the future, and we're going to do a full tune later on down the road.
Yeah.
Right now though, we've got the bike hooked up, we're tied in, we've got all of our connections up there. I just got us hooked up so we can monitor engine temperature, throttle positions kind of extra. This is a Pro Street tuner that we have just connected to the bike, looking at the bike right now. We're not going to tune it. So right off the bat, we're going to probably want some ear protection, and then we're probably going to want to hit the fan to get some air moving in here. So we'll pass out some ear protection. Up to you if you want to wear it or not, because it's going to be rather loud with that exhaust. And I'm going to knock a fan on.
Yeah.
Then we're going to hit this magic on. So we are sitting on about, we got one hit at 52.46. I don't know how accurate the 52.46 is. I like the 51, but literally you're splitting hairs when you're talking 1 horsepower. We're looking over here at this end. Can you see that it's really got a lot of jagged movements going up and down? We literally have the smoothing turned all the way up to try to make it as pretty as possible. And there is a lot of wiggle up there. That wiggle's kind of common on a 50 horsepower motorcycle that's buzzing 6,000 RPM. That could be a sign of a loose primary chain, or potentially a loose belt, or a tire that's got a flat spot on it from somebody locking the back brake up and sliding. Probably not on this bike being so new, but it could be wheel bearings. It's not big enough to cause a problem. It's just enough to where I don't know how much of that I would jump all over. Both the other runs look pretty good. We had the bike up to temp. There's this little bump right here in torque that happened. Like I said, I'm zoomed in pretty tight. I don't know if that's a big deal, but if you're gonna be printing a graph like this blue run does have the most torque with a 50.79 happening right here at about 4,500, 4,600 RPM. That's where peak torque lies. So this bike has a pretty good looking power band, even though it's not a giant amount of power. You're looking at 45 foot-pounds of torque at 2,000, and it rolls all the way through, and then right about there you see a lift. You see this rises, like you start to get this arc going on. That's where this bike's power band is kicking in at about 3,600. And it runs from 36 and it carries all the way out to 6,000. I don't know where the rev limiter is on this bike. It's still making power. Probably 6,200, maybe 6,500. Main thing I want to talk about is look at your power band. So this is the usable power band with this motorcycle. And most of our air-cooled V-twins have about a 2,000 RPM power band. So this kid's coming on just before 4 and he's running out to 4 to 6. There's your 2,000 RPM power band. Believe it or not, when you shift on a 5-speed Sportster, when you change gears, the 1-2 shift drops 1,875 RPMs. As you rev this bike out, when you shift here, you're gonna land right back here again, almost 2,000 under it. And then you run second gear out and you shift to the 2-3 and you drop an 1850. So that's a pretty wide spread from the 1-2 to the 2-3. The 3-4 shift is only 1,400 RPM, which is nice because it'll drop you back into this peak torque area, which is where your bike's actually going to pull the hardest when you're trying to accelerate. When you wind 4th gear out and shift into 5th gear, you lose 1285. So if you shift at 6, you're only jumping down to about right here in front of peak torque, and then you're got a lot of tire speed at that point, and RPM is mile per hour. So this gives you your mile per hour, and the torque gives you your away from the line and your acceleration. So it's just really neat when I hear guys say that something isn't right, or they don't know what they're doing, or whoever they is. If you look at the way this is built, man, this is just over 3,500. It pulls all the way to 6. That's really what you're after. We got a lot of guys that float around on 2-in-1 exhausts back and forth. You know what they like? I get it. And if you run a set of drag pipes, if we threw a set of drag pipes on this right now, we could probably get a little more peak horsepower at the last 800 RPM range. 2-in-1, a strong 2-in-1 system is going to move this earlier and move this out farther. It'll broaden that 2,000 RPM power band. Won't make more peak power, but it'll make more overall average power, or under the curve power. And under the curve power is what's fun to ride on the street. Pretty impressive start. We got a lot of room to move up from here, man, and I can't wait to see the rest of the results.
Super insightful, man. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Holy set.
Whatever. You fire that thing
I
up
did
to like
kart cross, you know that? With R1 motors and high boost.
All right, guys, so we got the Iron and doing the Indian Scout up next.
I think we're gonna rock and roll on that Indian, man. I want to check that out.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know how to hook it up, but we'll figure it out. I think I'm ready.
All right, so they are getting the Indian Scout all hooked up. We are keeping track of, well, Holly is keeping track of the numbers here. So we've got the Iron 883 coming at 51.77 horsepower and 50.79 torque. You guys comment down below, let us know what you think the Indian Scout is going to make for horsepower and torque. Let's see if you guess right. Maybe whoever guesses the closest we'll send some stickers to or something. We're gonna make these numbers ridiculous though. So we're trying to hook up the Indian Scout to get it dynoed. What are your first thoughts and impressions?
I had to use some metric tools.
It already hurts, right?
We are attempting to tag on to one of these coil wires here. We had to lift the tank a little bit to get to the coil connector, which is right there. This coil sits on top of the spark plug, and basically it has a wire that's basically like a big boot that it sits on. We're like a V-rod for any of you Harley folks that are out there. We have to tap into the primary wire, primary side of the coil. And I don't know which one this is because this is a smart coil. So it's got 3 wires going to the single coil. So one's power, one's going to be switched, and one's going to be probably like an ion sense. Basically it does like another voltage drop over the spark plug to measure the resistance of the leftovers after combustion. Kind of gives it an idea if it's running into detonation problems or incomplete combustion problems. I don't know if that's what this does. I'm not an Indian guy.
I'm an Indian guy and I don't know what you're talking about.
That's good. So I'm just gonna grab that white wire and we'll see if that works. So let me grab the primary. Hold that tank right there. It's taped. It's all taped together. So whoever taped this from the factory loves their job.
Last time we had an issue with wiring on a Scout, we just changed the whole wiring harness. So
it's a nice piece.
Yeah, it's
I'll
beautiful.
tell you that. It's a nice piece. It definitely isn't half-assed. They had it tucked right. They had
That was a pay raise taping.
a real nice
Yeah.
zip tie in there.
What is your name?
Jim Henson?
Jim Henson.
Yes, sir.
So what do you do with Jimmy here?
Right now he's cross-trained me in the Harley program for performance. I'm a teacher over in the metric side, and I mainly do the factory Suzuki class
Okay.
and also metric performance class.
Nice. So I mean, he was just kind of like frowning at metric. So you guys actually get along, or?
Yeah, a happy medium.
So we already got the horsepower and torque numbers for the Iron 883, so we weren't able to guess on that. So we're gonna put down our guesses for the Indian Scout. Wes, where you at? So the 883 was 51 and 50.
I'm gonna guess 75 horsepower and 80 torque.
75 and 80. All right, Anna, the Indian Scout, having rode all of them, what would be your best guess for the Indian Scout? How much horsepower, how much torque?
I'm gonna go with 43.
No, it's gonna be more powerful. It's a bigger engine. I'm gonna give you that tip. It's a bigger engine.
Oh, okay.
It's like
I don't know.
11,000 or 1100 something
Oh,
cc
okay.
versus the 83 is 83.
60 and 62, I don't know.
All right, well, it's better than your guess beforehand. We'll take it. So on note of the Indian, as we told you guys earlier, we were having trouble starting it whenever we came here. Pedro just took the VIN number, sent it to one of his buddies, and there's a service advisory to replace the starter. Basically fix like an issue with
There's
it.
no issue with a cable in there or something that needs to be replaced. They know in detail. You can make a video about that.
So we're gonna get that all done under warranty for free. So cool. What do you think the Indian Scout is gonna do?
Well, Indian claims it has 100 horsepower to the rear wheel. They wouldn't be claiming that if it wasn't true. So I would say between 90 and 100. I'm ready to see that. Torque, I have no idea. I'm not gonna throw out numbers on
You wanna
that
guess?
because
Yeah.
it's a very torquey bike. So it's definitely gonna, 883 has no chance.
Oh no, not at all.
What we just did wasn't a dyno run. It wasn't what you were looking at. I have never run this motorcycle before. I need to know what gear I need to be in to get an accurate dyno run. One of the things that we need to have on a dyno is we need to have engine revolutions to drum revolutions at a particular ratio for it to be correct, and that ratio is 56 to 1. So to have an accurate measurement, I need to have this engine sitting at 56 engine revolutions to 1 dyno drum revolution. So what I did was that weird little thing I did. I started in 4th gear and I shifted 4th gear, I recorded, I throttled, then I shifted into 5th gear, and then I shifted into 6th gear. And you can see that this is 4th, 5th, and 6th. Every time I shut the throttle, I lost power. I changed gears, and then I came up 5th gear, shut the throttle, and ran up in 6th gear. Now I just wanted to grab a little sample of these runs. Then I came in here and I got rid of RPM and I put tire speed across the bottom so you can see each tower independently. And then on the side, instead of putting torque down, I got rid of torque and I selected gear ratio. gear ratio is showing me what the engine speed to drum speed ratio is as we go through. And then I dropped a cursor on there, and when I look at a cursor, I can zoom in a little bit on this cursor and I can see that 69.33 to 1 in 4th gear. Now that's the typical gear that we use in a Harley, is 4th gear run, and this one is 69. So that number is a real high number. So if I did this dyno run in a 4th gear, it would show a very conservative number, low horsepower. That's 4th. Over here is 5th gear, and I see that we're at 61.33. It's closer. It might be a little more accurate, but I'm still thinking that that's probably not where I want to be. So I'm going to drag this screen over and I'm going to look at high gear. And high gear, wouldn't you know, that looks like 58 or 56.49 to 1. So we're going to do a high gear run on this bike, and we're going to have to pay attention to tire speed. I'm going to check the speed rating on this tire, and we'll try not to get over that speed rating. So if you own an 883